Hey guys, sorry about that. I am about a minute late getting on here. Sorry. I've got to rearrange this just a little bit. Okay, so I am super excited to be on here with you guys live today. It's been just over a week since I was on here before, and I'm sorry it's been so long, but I'm super excited to be on here now. So, I'm really looking forward to talking about power today. Hey, Tyler, thanks for hopping on. Because we have so much power. We really do in the decisions and choices that we make every single day. Hey, James. Hey, Melanie. Thanks for jumping on, guys. And so when we talk about the choices that we have, it comes down to every single second. Every single decision that we make is a choice of power. Whether or not we're going to use it for positive or whether we're going to use it for negative in the stories that we're telling ourselves. So every single one of us, and by the way, if you're hopping on here live, thank you so much. I appreciate seeing you here. It's so much easier. It's so much easier being able to do these live videos when you have people on here with you. So thank you so much. And if you're watching this as a replay viewer, please drop me a hashtag replay. And I've got my nice brain food here to help me get through this today, because this is going to be quite the share, okay? So I'm just going to give you a little bit of warning. This is going to be a raw. This is going to be a naked. This is going to be an intense live video today, because I think it's about time. It's time that we had this conversation. It's time that we, got a little bit real with ourselves and what we're doing to ourselves and the stories we're telling our own selves. Thanks for jumping on, guys. And if you're a replay viewer, please drop me that hashtag replay in the comment section, because I want to come back and talk to you. And absolutely I will, James. Can't wait to see them for sure. So when we're talking about life, we all have a story, right? And we all have things that can either be positive or they can be negative. Did you know that things can be both? All in how we decide to look at them. And just so you know, there's a lot of stuff that's happened in my life that I'm going to share with you, because like I said, I'm getting naked. I'm getting naked with you guys today. The clothes are staying on, but I'm getting naked. Hi, Angie. Hey, Mary. Thanks for jumping on. And as we go through this live video today, and as we go through this chat, this little love note from Marci, if you think that there's something in here that you're gaining value from, there's somebody else that you know and care about that really needs to be hearing these things too, please share forward, because that's the way that we can help educate people, how we can help uplift people and help other people understand their true value. Hey, Tyler, how are you? Awesome. So glad that you're there safely. Keep saying prayers for all the rest of us that are going into Indianapolis this week, because it's going to be a nice, crazy, cold weekend, but it's going to be amazing. Hi, Susan. Hey, Scott. Thanks for jumping on. All right, so let's jump into this topic today. Okay, the power of a story. Okay, so I'm actually going to bear with you guys and share a lot of my story that a lot of you don't know. Even those people that think that they're the closest to me may not know a lot of the things that I'm going to share. So if you want to share a lot of hearts with me, a lot of encouragement, I would really appreciate it, because it's going to be a tough one for me today. So I want to tell you guys, I have had a phenomenal life. I've had a beautiful life. I've had a life where I've been able to learn a lot. Thank you so much for those hearts. I've had the opportunity to go through a lot of difficult things, and some of those things I'm going to share with you, and it's hard, and I'm getting I'm getting palpitations, because we're always so worried about what people are going to think of us, right? Hi, Jill. Thanks for hopping on. Because people sometimes can be very mean and very judgmental, right? But I'm choosing today to believe that you're all on my side and that we can get through this together, because I want you to know that you have people in your corner too. And I'm one of those, that I will help you get through anything that you want to get through. And that's why I'm getting so real and raw with you today. So thank you guys so much for the hearts. Have you ever had that feeling yourself when you're just getting ready to share something that you know that you're supposed to share, and yet you're just scared? If you've ever had that feeling before, will you please drop a 1 down in the comment section so that I know that I'm not alone. I'm not the only person that has ever felt this way before, having apprehension in sharing a story. Hey, Mary, thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate knowing that. Thank you. So I'm going to get into my story, okay? Oh, thanks, Jill. Seriously, thank you, Melee. Thank you. Tyler, yes. So I came from a really big family. I am the 8th of 10 kids. So big, big family. And, you know, I love both my parents. They're both deceased now. They both passed away. My mom 26 years ago this past Sunday, and then my dad's coming up on 4 years. And it's crazy when your parents aren't here anymore and you start thinking back to the things that you've experienced in your life, things that they don't even know about, that we go through because we keep them hidden in the darkest parts of our souls, right? Because we're afraid to hurt people. We're afraid to let people in sometimes. Hi, Hagen. How are you, my sister? So some of those things that I want to talk about is, first of all, you know, coming from a family that's so big and then having your parents get divorced. I am a product of a divorced family. My parents were married for 28 years before they ended up deciding that it was not the right thing. And it was the right decision for them. It really was. But then that created all kinds of things on my side to where, you know, I started having those daddy issues like so many of us have. And I am not looking for sympathy on anything I'm sharing with you. I just want you to know that I've been through a lot. Okay, you too, Jill, you understand that? And so I want you to know that I truly do have empathy and understanding in a lot of situations. And the only way that you'll really know that is if I truly share my story with you. And, you know, some of this stuff is really hard. Like, my parents got divorced when I was 13, and then there was a series of things that happened that led to me being a victim of rape at that same age. And that I carried with me my whole life until I went through the police academy. And I learned that being 13, it wasn't my fault, because I had always blamed myself. Because I put myself in the situation. Hi, Lori, thanks for jumping on. I let myself be in a position to have that happen to me. And so I blamed myself clear up until the time I was 30. And this happened when I was 13, guys. So think about that. That's 17 years of me telling myself a story that led to so much problems and pain in my life. And so that's part of my story that I wanted to get out there and share with you guys. So I can breathe a little bit lighter now, right? Hey, Hagen. And so, you know, when I look at that, part of what came from that is me seeking out more male attention, seeking out more approval from guys, right? And so I started making really bad decisions for myself. I have had 3 failed marriages. I've been through 3 divorces myself. And that is something that's not easy to share either. But you know what, though? It's important for people to understand that when we make decisions sometimes for ourselves, we aren't our best person to be making those decisions. And it was at a time that, you know, I didn't have, thank you so much for the love, guys. I didn't have the relationship with God that I do now. I didn't have the personal relationship with Jesus Christ where I could understand who I truly was in Him. I had just that understanding of who I was, and I was at the point in my life that I always had to be in control. And so that's part of my story, is the failures when I felt like I had to be in control. And so let's go from there. Let's see, there's family lies that were told about me. People in my own family that told lies about me that led to a lot of jealousy, that led to a lot of mean people treating me poorly when I was in high school. And I know I'm kind of going back and forth here, but it all does end up tying together, I promise. Thanks for jumping on live. If you're jumping on live, guys, I appreciate it because I need the support right now, right? And if you're watching this as a replay viewer, thank you so much for being on. And hashtag replay in the comment section so I can come back and chat with you, okay? And if you are getting anything out of this and you think that there's going to be more good information coming, please share this forward and put that in the comment box too so that I can give you a shout out for sharing this, okay? Hey guys, hey Mary, hey Cesar, Nikolai, Nico, I love you, I love you. So let's continue with my story. So when we talk about jealousy gets really, really ugly sometimes. And it can be very painful and always hurtful, okay? There's never anything positive that comes out of jealousy, right? And so when we're thinking about that, we always have to understand that people... Okay, let me come back because this is a phrase that I really like. Hurt people, right? Hurt people. And so it's important to know that when people are hurting you, that more than likely they're coming from a hurting place. And so that's where we have to just really be thankful for who we are now and where we've come from and understanding of what we've been through, right? Thank you guys so much for all the love. I appreciate you so very much. And so one of the things that I haven't shared yet is that, you know, I went through a good portion of my life not with much purpose. I had 2 kids, you know, when I was younger. My kids are now 26 and 23. Love them so very much. But when they were only 6 and 9, I went through the police academy. I loved it. I was a police officer for almost 10 years. I feel that I was pretty good at it. And I got to do a lot of different roles in the police department. It was a hard place to be. It was a male dominant field, right? And so there was a lot of difficult things. It's like, actually, I've been laughing a lot recently. I mean, how many of you are just getting a total kick out of all of the people that are being brought to justice for their sexual harassment or the problems that they caused, women and men, because men get sexually harassed too, right? And so if you're kind of seeing this coming to light now, put a 2 down in the comment section if you know what I'm talking about. Because when I was a police officer, that was rampant. It was something that happened all of the time. And yet, you know what I've come to realize? I've come to realize that that is not how any of us should be treated. Right? We don't deserve that. It doesn't matter if we're trying to fit in at a work position, whether we're trying to be the best that we can be and somebody else is trying to bring us down. Nobody should be treating us that way, right? And so when I was a police officer, I had to deal with a lot of that, okay? But on top of that, you know, I had 2 kids that I was trying to provide a living for. I was in a marriage that was difficult, and in August of 2009, I learned really fast and hardcore that you're never in control if you have to have somebody else sign a paycheck for you to get paid to be able to pay your bills. Because I was actually in a car accident on duty that ended my career in August of 2009. And this was a really big deal because it was on duty, and so I was not only just dealing with the person that hit me. I was in my unmarked detective car, stopped for an ambulance that had to cross the roadway, and the lady behind me was distracted. She hit me going about 60 miles an hour without braking. Okay, so I ended up with a brain injury, several herniated discs throughout my spine that required surgery, and that day, my career was over. That fast. I didn't give permission for it. And so I had to have 3 surgeries. Okay, 3 spine surgeries. And at that moment, I couldn't pay my bills again. I couldn't take care of my children. My brain wasn't working because of the brain injury. And I was struggling. So that marriage that wasn't very good, when you add financial stress into marriage, a lot of the times they fail. And it did. I went through a divorce, the 3rd one. And then on top of that, lost a house. And I had thought that my purpose on this planet was to be a police officer. I had attached my value to being a police officer. That was the story that I told myself, that my purpose and who I was a police officer. And so in that instant, when that was gone, my whole purpose was gone. And that's the story that I was telling myself. And I ended up in a really bad spot. I was on a lot of prescription medications, in a lot of pain. My brain wasn't working anyway. As my daughter would say, curling my hair and brushing her teeth, you know, as she's pointing towards me and I'm crazy, right? But the thing is that when you're going through things like that and then you get put on a lot of prescription medication, some of them actually had warning labels on them that said may cause suicidal tendencies. Now, I got to tell you guys, it's not who I am, but it was the situation I was in, compounded by prescription medication that led me to 4 suicide attempts. You know, God's amazing, because I know that He's walked me through every single thing that I've shared with you so far for a reason. Because I wouldn't be here right now if He hadn't, okay? I didn't do things wrong. I should have been successful, but guess what? God knew better. He had more for me. He knew what my true purpose was. Okay? Have you ever felt like you have lost your purpose? Have you ever felt like you weren't worth anything? If you've ever felt that way, please put a 3 down in the comment section, because there are so many people out there that feel that way. And that's why I'm sharing my story today, is because you need to hear my story. Just like everybody else needs to hear your story. You could be saving somebody's life by sharing your story. Okay? And I'll explain that to you here in just a minute. I love you, Nico, so much. Oh, Mary, seriously. Andrea, yeah, there's so many people that feel that way. Guys, seriously, know that I love you, know that God loves you, and that you have a grander purpose than anything that we ever tell ourselves in these stupid, stupid stories, right? I hope that you're getting some value out of this. If you're getting some value, please share this forward, because there's other people that need to hear this information. Okay, people need to know that there's hope, because that's where I was at the end of my rope, at my darkest point in my life, you know, and I had an opportunity to have hope. And it's crazy because sometimes opportunities come in all kinds of different shapes, colors, smells, whatever you want to think about, right? And, you know, thankfully I was able to see where I could get help from my brain, where I could get my body functioning at the highest possible level for it by activating it instead of taking all these drugs, you know, being able to give my brain food instead of the crap that was changing my personality. And with this brought me purpose, because as I started to share my story, I don't know how many times. I do remember the very first time that I told my story. It was here in Phoenix, Arizona, and a top leader for the company that I'm partnered with was here, and she was presenting, and she asked for stories about, you know, results when you're activating your body. And I stood up and I shared my story, and I was scared freaking to death because I was going to tell people that I had attempted suicide. And you know what? That was scary. Because people suck sometimes, people are really mean sometimes, and they don't understand because they've not ever been there. And so what I can tell you is that by me starting to share my story, I don't know how many people's lives I've touched, but I do know there's at least a few lives I've saved because I gave people hope. Okay? I've gave people hope. And that's what you guys need to do by sharing your stories, because there is so much power in our stories. Oh, Tamara, I love you seriously so much. No narcotics. Thank you, Jesus. Seriously. So what I can tell you right now is that I am a victor. Okay? I'm victorious. I have a true relationships with my Father in heaven, with God, with Jesus Christ. I know who I am in Him now, and so that gives me great purpose right there, right? That gives me great purpose. I know that I am good enough. I know that I am worthy. I know that I am able to be who I am today because of all of those old things that I've walked through, my old story, all of those things that I survived, and I know that it's because I was not alone ever. I was brought through those difficult times. And I also know that I have compassion and empathy for people now more than I ever could if I had not ever gone through my story, right? So what if? I had a choice, didn't I? Have you ever been placed in a position to where you had a choice on if you could look at something that's going on in your life and ask, why me? Or why not me? Right? If you've ever been put in that position, please put a 3 down in the comment section. Or have I already asked you for a 3? I think 3. 3 is what we want down in the comment section, right? A 3 for if you've ever been put into that position to where you had to make a decision on how you were going to look or tell yourself a certain story, right? Because I could, if you wanted to, or if I had chosen to, and I did for many years of my life, unfortunately. Is it a 4, Tamara? Thank you. Okay. If it's a 4, thanks. I don't know. I get lost sometimes, but thanks for being real with me. Thank you. Thank you. So when we're looking here, I could have, right? I could have remained that victim and blamed myself for the rest of my life. I could have decided to have to maintain control all of the time instead of giving it up to God and letting Him make the decisions for me. I could have made the decision to believe lies that were told about me. I could have believed the stories of jealous people and let it limit my belief in myself. I could have continued to believe that there was no purpose for me. Right? I could have. I could have believed that there was no reason to even try to be married again. I could have given up on love, right? I could have. I could have been a victim to that side of the storytelling process, because the power in the decision of how we're going to look at our story compared to me being that way or me being me now, right? So me now, as I said before, I am victorious. I am a leader. I am determined to inspire and empower as many people that will let me. I am here to reach down and lift up as many that need it. I am here to listen to Jesus and my God, because I know that they will never lead me astray. Because I'm sure God's sure, right? And that I have a huge purpose to help every single one of you understand that you have a massive purpose too. And that you are here for a reason. So guys, what story are you telling yourself? Are you telling yourself the good and powerful story? The story that you are victorious? The story that you are worthy? The story that you are good enough? Yes, Lori, anytime. Or are you telling yourself the story that you are not good enough, that you are not worthy, that you are what all those other people have told you you are, instead of listening to who you truly are and who you were created to be? So if you guys hopped on here and were with me live, thank you so very much. I appreciate you so, so much. I love all of you. And if you're watching this as a replay viewer, thank you so much for watching. Hashtag replay down in the bottom, please. And if you got any value out of this and you think there's anyone else that needs to hear this message today and is ready to get naked with me while leaving our clothes on. I know, I'm crazy, aren't I? But just know that I love you. God loves you. You are enough because you are. Be very careful in the stories that you're telling yourself. Choose to tell yourself the right story, the positive story, the love story, because that's what it's all about. And I hope you've enjoyed this love note from me, Marci. All right, guys. Love you.